Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to welcome the Attorney General. We're so glad that you were finally confirmed, and we could get beyond the petty politics that were the obstruction to that confirmation. Before I go into my statement, though, I want to remind the committee that yesterday was Senator Shelby's birthday. So could we join in a round of applause and wish him good health and blessings.
Thank you.
Let's hope that's not the high point of the hearing. Madam Attorney General, you've had an eventful first 2 weeks in office. I know this is your very first congressional hearing since you've been confirmed, and we're looking forward to your testimony in terms of the Justice Department's needs for its 2016 budget. We are eager to hear from you about the many ongoing efforts at the many Justice Department agencies. We want to, first of all, thank you, Madam Attorney General, for your work in coming to Baltimore and your team to coming into Baltimore. It was tremendously helpful to the mayor, to our police department, and most of all, to the citizens to have the presence of the Justice Department. I personally want to thank you on behalf of the entire Maryland delegation for the professionalism of your team and, of course, yourself. I want to particularly acknowledge the right of the Deputy Attorney General, Ms. Gupta, Mr. Ron Davis, the Director of the COPS program, Mr. Gran Lum, your outstanding community relations team that came in and provided very crucial technical assistance during very troubling times. We were in Baltimore on Tuesday together as you listened to faith-based community officials, faith-based community leaders. You met with local officials and even reached out to the Freddie Gray family. I will not be asking you any questions about the Freddie Gray investigation because we know it's an ongoing investigation. You have gotten a request from the mayor about asking the Department of Justice to open a pattern and practice investigation into our police department. Later on this afternoon, you will be getting a letter from the Maryland delegation supporting that request. That will go forward. But I want to say this, in many cities throughout the country, and including my own town of Baltimore, and in communities primarily that have significant populations of color, there has been now a tattered, worn, and even broken trust between the community and the police department. We've got to restore that trust. We need the police department. We want to express our condolences to the people in the police department of Queens about the death of Officer Brian Moore, who was gunned down so brutally. But we also do need criminal justice reform, and we need it with an urgency of now. I intend to ask questions about what you need in the way of resources to do the job that needs to be done, and also what reforms that are needed, that are specific and are targeted. We're also joined today by an outstanding appropriator, but also the the ranking member of the authorizing committee on the Judiciary Committee, a long history in this. We're here to show that the American people have a government on their side and to have a constitutional focus to what we do. We have put money in the federal checkbook, $2.3 billion for grant programs, target the resources for police, local government, and communities. They range from more cops on the beat to dealing with the rape kit backlog to child abuse. Mayors have told us they need help getting more cops on the beat. We had $180 million in doing that. We also wanted to help them be able to have the equipment that they needed, and had $376 million in grant programs. Now we have to look at what does that mean. Some are crying out for body cameras. Is this just yet one more gimmick, or is it a crucial tool? Communities and nonprofits want to help our young people, and this is why we'll look for your thoughts either today or in the ongoing discussion on our juvenile justice programs of prevention, of intervention, who are helping with everything from delinquency prevention to the ongoing mentoring that we needed. As you know, many of our civil rights groups and community leaders have called out for criminal justice reform. We'll look forward to your advice to that, and we know the Judiciary Committee will also be doing it. But I'm going to have questions related to money and also training. That, in other words, if you get the money, should you get training? I look forward to asking questions on whether, if you get COPS money, burn grant money, and others, should there be required training on how to deal with racial and ethnic bias? What about the use of force? Should there be national standards that every department meets? What about body cameras? There's privacy concerns, there's storage concerns, many concerns. What should we do about it? And last but not at all least, I do hope again for both this conversation and ongoing, the examination of the so-called broken window policy. When the broken window policy was initiated by, or talked about by, an eminent sociologist, John Q. Wilson, I supported that policy. And I supported it as somebody who started her career as a social worker, that if you fix the broken window, that you intervene with youth when they were doing minor offenses, could we intervene in a way that prevented them growing up doing major offenses? But while we were looking at the broken window, at the so-called minor criminals, we were going to fix the broken windows. We were going to deal with vacant houses. We were going to deal with the truancy problem. We were going to do this. But now what seems to happen is the policy has deteriorated where we've stopped fixing the broken window and we've escalated the frisking. No more fixing, but lots of frisking. And that's what our folks feel. Last year, 120,000 police stops occurred in Baltimore. We're a population of 610,000. That's a lot. I don't know what the appropriateness of that, but I think we need to look at it. So today I sit here as the ranking member of the committee that will fund your department, and I assume my national responsibility. But I'm also here for the 85,000 kids, all of whom that day of the disturbance went home peacefully. What can we do to help them? The 610,000 law-abiding people in Baltimore who obeyed the law and helped to do that. So we look forward to working with you on what are the tools to restore confidence between our police and our community, but also put our arms around our young people and see what we can do to help them. And maybe when we fix a broken window, we have to fix the broken political process we have to get the job done. Thank you, and I look forward to your testimony.